My father always believed that men were built for leadership and women were built for support. He repeated that line so many times growing up that it practically became the soundtrack of my childhood. But even with that mindset, nothing prepared me for the moment I walked outside at Benjamin's wedding reception and saw the blinding silver Lamborghini parked in front of the venue with a massive red bow resting on the hood. Everyone screamed. Phones were out. People were crying, hugging my father, celebrating a father who truly supports his son. But my heart dropped. My father, Benjamin Sr., looked at my brother with so much pride it almost burned my eyes. "This is for you," he said, "the next leader of our family legacy." My husband-to-be at the time, Caspian, squeezed my hand. "Hilda, are you okay?" I forced a smile. Of course, why wouldn't I be? But inside, I felt something dark, something heavy, like the first crack in a wall that had been holding back years of resentment. Because I knew the truth. Benjamin didn't want the business. I was the one who had been secretly running half of it. And yet my father gifted him a Lamborghini and barely looked at me. I had no idea that this moment was only the beginning of the insult that would change everything. And that my turn was coming, just not the way anyone expected. Growing up, my father made his hierarchy clear. Men lead, women support, he'd say at dinner like it was scripture. My mother never challenged him. Benjamin never challenged him. But me, I questioned it every chance I got. "Hilda, you're brilliant," my teacher said. Sharp, business-minded, assertive. But brilliance doesn't matter when you're born on the wrong side of tradition. My father groomed Benjamin from the age of 12 to take over the company, meetings, mentorships, golf with potential investors. Meanwhile, he pushed me toward administrative skills, as if my mind needed to stay in the background. The irony, Benjamin cared more about video games than profit margins. And when he got older, he cared more about Lana, his girlfriend-turned-wife, than corporate strategy. But still, my father clung to the image of his son, the heir. Even when Benjamin secretly started calling me for help. Even when I fixed deals he almost destroyed. Even when I stayed up all night preparing presentations, he was too disorganized to finish. My father never knew. And Benjamin begged me to keep it that way. "You should be the one running the company," he always said. "But Dad, you know how he is." I did know, too well. But I also knew something else. The more I stepped into Benjamin's shadow to clean up his mess, the more I became the actual backbone of the business. And no one, not even my father, had a clue. Benjamin's calls usually came around midnight. "Hilda, please, I need help. Dad wants a breakdown of the revenue projections and You haven't done it. Lana wanted us to go out, and you know how she gets if I say no." I sighed. "Email me what you have." "Hilda, you're a lifesaver." "No, more like an unpaid CEO." I handled negotiations, created strategy decks, spoke to clients using Benjamin's email, and even stepped into Zoom meetings off camera while he mouthed my words. It was ridiculous. But I did it. Why? Because I wanted the company to succeed. Because it carried my family's name. Because deep down, I believed my father might one day see who was really holding it together. Little did I know, he already suspected something. I found out one evening when I walked past his study and heard him mutter to himself as he looked at an award Benjamin had accepted. "If only you were a man," he whispered. "You should be the one." I froze. He stopped talking when he noticed me. "Hilda, what are you doing standing there?" "Nothing, Dad, just passing." He nodded, dismissed me, and turned off the light. But the unfinished sentence hung between us, heavy and haunting. If only I were a man. What would he have done differently? I wasn't sure yet. But I was about to find out. 6 months after Benjamin's extravagant wedding, it was my turn. The hall was elegant, filled with white roses and lantern lights. Caspian looked handsome and gentle, everything I needed in a partner. The day should have been perfect. Then my father approached me with an envelope in his hand. "Hilda, this is from your mother and me," he said. Inside, $2,100 bills. A total of $2,000. My heart stopped. I swallowed hard, forcing a smile so no one would notice the sting shooting through my chest. "Thank you, Dad," I said quietly. "That's all we can do for now," he said dismissively. "You know we poured a lot into Benjamin's wedding." Everyone heard about the Lamborghini. Everyone posted it. Everyone celebrated it. And now, here I was, his daughter, receiving an envelope like a college student getting gas money. Caspian noticed my expression. "Hilda." "I'm fine," I lied. But I knew I was. This wasn't just favoritism. It was a message. A message that said, "Your worth will never measure up to your brother, no matter what you do." And for the first time in my life, anger replaced every trace of obedience I once carried. Months rolled by, and just when I thought things couldn't get more complicated, my father fell seriously ill. Hospital visits became routine, and out of everyone, I was the one who showed up every day. Benjamin visited occasionally. Lana came once, stayed 10 minutes, and complained the whole time. But me. I brought food, managed medication schedules, spoke to doctors, reassured him, sat by his bed even when he had no strength to speak. One night, he grabbed my hand suddenly, his eyes watery. "Hilda, if only." He stopped, swallowed hard. "If only you were a man," he whispered. The words stabbed me. Sharp, clear, unapologetic. "So that's what you think," I said, my voice breaking. He looked away, ashamed, but still unable to say anything different. That night, I walked out of the hospital with a vow forming inside me. I would stop hiding. Stop helping in the shadows. Stop accepting crumbs. If he couldn't see my worth as his daughter, he was about to see my worth as a leader. 2 months into my father's illness, a crisis hit the company hard. A major investor threatened to pull out after Benjamin mishandled negotiations. The entire deal was collapsing. Benjamin called me in full panic. "Hilda, please, I can't lose this investor. Dad will kill me." "No, Benjamin," I said firmly. "Dad won't kill you. He'll blame me, because I'm the one who's been doing your work." Silence. "You're right," he said quietly. "But can you help me, please?" I took a long breath. Then I stepped in. I drafted a new proposal, managed the calls, turned the deal around, and convinced the investor to stay. The company survived. Benjamin took credit again. But this time, the satisfaction never followed. Instead, resentment simmered inside me like burning coal. Dad had no idea that his future heir had nearly destroyed the company, or that his less valuable daughter had just saved it. But he was about to find out, whether he liked it or not. Lana always had opinions, loud, unapologetic ones, and one afternoon during a family dinner, she finally let them out. "Benjamin works so hard," she said, sipping wine. "He deserves everything your father gives him." I raised a brow. "Everything?" "Well, yes. He's the one carrying the family business, isn't he?" Benjamin choked on his drink. Caspian stared at me, waiting to see if I'd explode. I didn't, but I leaned in slowly and said, "Are you sure that's the truth, Lana?" Her smile faltered. "What do you mean?" I said nothing more, but the silence hit her harder than words. Benjamin looked at me with pure panic. He knew his time of taking credit was running out. It happened during another emergency call. "Hilda, I messed up again," Benjamin said. "Please just fix it, just this one last time." Something inside me snapped. The years of secret labor. The humiliation of the wedding gifts. The disrespect. The traditions. All of it piled on top of me, crushing whatever patience I had left. "No, Benjamin," I said. "Fix it yourself." "But I don't know how." "Exactly." Silence. This is who Dad wants running the company, I added sharply. A man who can't function without his sister. He didn't respond. For the first time, Benjamin realized he couldn't hide anymore. A week later, Benjamin called. Hilda, Dad needs to know the truth. I froze. What? I'm calling a family meeting. I can't keep lying. It's killing me. I stared at my phone, stunned by his courage, and terrified of what would come next. Are you sure? I asked. Yes, I'm done pretending. And just like that, the moment I had been waiting for and dreading was set in motion. We gathered in the living room. My father sat in his recliner, weak but alert. Benjamin stood across from him, shaking. Lana scrolled on her phone, uninterested. Caspian held my hand tightly. Then Benjamin cleared his throat. Dad, there's something I need to say. My father looked confused. What is it? Benjamin inhaled deeply. It's about the company. My heart raced. This was it. The truth was finally about to explode. Benjamin stood in front of our father, hands trembling, voice cracking. Dad, I can't run the company. My father frowned. What do you mean you can't? You're the heir. No, Benjamin said. I've never been the heir, I've only been the figurehead. Lana finally looked up, confused. Benjamin, what are you doing? He swallowed hard. Hilda has been running the company for the last 2 years. Every deal, every negotiation, every crisis I caused, she fixed it. My father's jaw tightened. That's not possible. I stepped forward calmly. It is Dad. Benjamin nodded rapidly, like the truth was flooding out uncontrollably. She saved the business. More times than I can count. She's the reason it's still standing. My father looked at me like he was seeing me for the very first time. His eyes were wide, shocked, wounded, lost. Is this true? He whispered. I didn't answer with words. I opened my laptop, showed emails, call logs, contracts, spreadsheets, evidence of 2 years' worth of invisible labor. Lana stared at Benjamin like he had just confessed to murder. My father leaned back slowly, gripping the armrest as if the truth physically knocked him backward. And then his voice broke. I didn't know. For the first time in my life, I saw fear in his eyes. Fear that he had built his legacy on the wrong child. But that was only the beginning. Because the next revelation shattered the room completely. Benjamin cleared his throat, pushing forward. And Dad, there's more. My father stiffened. More. Benjamin pointed at me. Hilda didn't just help the company. She saved it from bankruptcy. Lana gasped. Bankruptcy. My father's hand trembled. That's impossible. I stepped forward. The investor you thought you secured last year, he was pulling out. The company was days away from financial collapse. Benjamin couldn't fix it, so he called me. I showed him the emails, the original withdrawal notice, the proposal I drafted, the turnaround I personally negotiated. My father stared at the screen, his breathing shallow. You're telling me you saved the entire company without anyone knowing? Yes. Benjamin added softly. She saved it multiple times. Lana turned to Benjamin. You lied to me. Benjamin didn't even defend himself. He just kept staring at our father, waiting. My father's face turned pale. Why didn't you tell me? Because you never wanted to hear it, Benjamin said gently. You only saw the child you wanted, not the child you had. My father's eyes filled, with regret, with realization. With 20 years of pride crumbling in front of him. And then he whispered the last thing I ever expected. Oh God, what have I done? But the meeting wasn't over. Not even close. My father stood, slowly, painfully, and walked toward me. Hilda, look at me. I did. His voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me? I held eye contact. For the first time ever, I didn't look away. Because you wouldn't have believed me. You never saw me as capable of anything beyond typing, scheduling, and supporting a man. Benjamin winced. Caspian squeezed my hand. My father swallowed hard. I was wrong. That's an understatement, I said. My voice wasn't angry. It wasn't emotional. It was honest. You dismissed me, ignored my abilities, handed Benjamin a Lamborghini and gave me $2,000. You didn't just underestimate me, Dad. You disrespected me. Lana muttered, that part still shocks me. My father's eyes watered. Hilda, I didn't know, I didn't understand. You didn't want to understand, I replied. You decided my value before I ever had a chance to prove myself. The room went silent. Then my father said something that made even Benjamin take a step back. What can I do to make this right? For the first time, the power was in my hands. But I didn't answer yet, because I needed to hear one more thing from him. I crossed my arms and stared at my father. You want to make things right? Start with the truth. Say it out loud. His lips trembled. Say what? That you were wrong about me. That you misjudged your own daughter because she wasn't born a man. Benjamin's eyes widened. Caspian inhaled sharply. Lana whispered, "Oh my God." My father closed his eyes slowly, as if the words were knives he had to swallow before speaking. I was wrong about you, he whispered. No, I said, say it properly. He opened his eyes, glassy, defeated, humbled in a way I had never imagined. Hilda, I misjudged you. I doubted you. I underestimated you because you were my daughter, not my son, and I am deeply, painfully sorry. The room froze. Benjamin wiped his face. Lana looked away awkwardly. Caspian smiled proudly. And me. For the first time in years, I exhaled. But I still wasn't done. Thank you for saying that, I said quietly. But there's still one decision you have to make. My father blinked. What decision? I stepped closer. Who will lead the company? His answer changed everything. My father lowered himself back into his chair, weak and overwhelmed. I always believed a son should inherit the family business, he said. But today, I see how blind that belief made me. Benjamin put a hand on his shoulder. Dad, I don't want the company. I never did. Hilda deserves it. She's earned it more than anyone. My father looked us both over, his children, polar opposites, standing together for once. Then he said the words that shook the entire room. The company belongs to Hilda. Caspian clapped a hand over his mouth, almost emotional. I wasn't sure I heard correctly. Are you serious? My father nodded. I built that business, but you saved it. You've proven your leadership in ways I never acknowledged. It's yours, officially. Benjamin smiled with relief. Lana whispered, wow. Then my father added something darker. But I know my apology isn't enough, and handing over the company doesn't erase the past. He looked at me with raw sincerity. You have every right to resent me. I didn't respond. Not yet. Because, as much as I wanted to accept the victory, there was still something else lingering, something that would soon come to light. And it would shake us all again. As soon as the decision was made, Lana stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous, she snapped. How can you just hand the company to her? Benjamin is your son. Benjamin covered his face. Lana, stop. No, I won't stop, she shouted. We're supposed to build a future with that company. That was the plan. I raised an eyebrow. Your plan, or Benjamin? She glared at me. You took advantage because you're jealous of him. I laughed softly. Jealous, trust me. I never wanted your husband's position. He didn't even want it. Benjamin chimed in, tired and ashamed. Lana, I haven't wanted this for years. I just didn't know how to tell Dad. Lana stared at him like he slapped her. So you're giving up the entire company, just like that? Yes, he said, because it never belonged to me. It belonged to Hilda all along. Lana's face twisted with fury. She grabbed her purse and stormed out. Benjamin looked at me, eyes watery. I'm sorry about her. It's not your fault, I said. But deep inside, I knew Lana wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Later that night, after the tension settled, Caspian pulled me aside. Hilda, can I be honest with you? I nodded. I always knew you were capable of more than what your father gave you credit for. But watching you today, I'm proud in a way I can't even explain. I felt a warmth spread through my chest. You really mean that? He cupped my face gently. You don't need a man's validation, but I'll say it anyway. You are incredible, and your father finally knows it. I smiled, leaning into him. Thank you. Also, he added, grinning mischievously, your brother looked so relieved when he confessed, I thought he was going to faint. I laughed harder than I had in months. But that joy didn't last long. Because the next morning, something unexpected happened. Something that threatened to undo all the progress we had just made. And it started with a phone call. I was drinking coffee when my phone buzzed. Hello. Hilda, it's the board. My stomach dropped. What happened? We heard about the meeting with your father yesterday. Benjamin told us everything. My heart raced. And we need you at headquarters immediately. When I arrived, the board members were waiting, stern, silent, unreadable. Hilda, the chairman said, we've reviewed your contributions. Your father confirmed everything. Benjamin confirmed everything. Okay. The chairman folded his hands. We believe you are the most qualified person to take over, officially. I blinked. So I'm being appointed CEO. No, he said. You're being named president and CEO, effective immediately. I nearly dropped my purse. The board smiled. You've earned this, and frankly, we should have noticed it years ago. Just as I was about to breathe with relief, the chairman added, but there's one more thing you need to know. My pulse quickened. Because the next revelation wasn't about business. It was personal. The chairman sighed deeply. There's something your father asked us to share with you privately. Okay, what is it? He hesitated. Hilda, your father has been planning something for you for months, even before he got sick. My eyes widened. What, planning what? The chairman handed me a sealed envelope. This. I opened it slowly. Inside was a letter, written in my father's handwriting. In it, he explained that he had been struggling with his beliefs, that he secretly watched my contributions, that he noticed how often Benjamin leaned on me. And then, the line that changed everything. I was preparing documents to name you successor before I fell ill. I just didn't know how to face you after everything I had said over the years. My breath caught. He knew. He had been trying. And he was ashamed. The chairman put a hand on my shoulder. He wanted you to have this after your appointment. He wanted you to know he wasn't as blind as you thought. I felt tears rising. But I didn't let them fall. Not yet. Because I needed to hear it from him myself. I rushed to the house, letter in hand. My father was sitting in the living room, frail but alert. Dad. My voice shook. He looked up slowly. Hilda, what's wrong? I held up the letter. You wrote this. He swallowed hard. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? He looked down, ashamed. I didn't know how. I thought you hated me. I thought I had pushed you too far to ever repair the relationship, and I wasn't ready to face that truth. I knelt beside him. Dad, I don't hate you. He looked at me, eyes wet. You should. I don't, I repeated, but I needed you to see me, and yesterday you finally did. He grabbed my hand. I'm proud of you, Hilda. I always should have been. I was just too stuck in old beliefs to recognize your brilliance. Forgive me. My throat tightened. I'll think about it, I said honestly. He nodded. He accepted it. But the peace didn't last. Because someone else was about to stir chaos again. Lana showed up 2 days later, unannounced, furious, and dramatic. She barged into my office. "We need to talk." I raised an eyebrow. "About what?" "You ruined my life," she snapped. I leaned back. "How exactly?" "You took the company. You embarrassed Benjamin. You destroyed everything we planned." I laughed softly. "Lana, Benjamin never wanted the company. That plan was yours." She clenched her fists. "Well, I'm not letting you walk away with everything." I stared at her. "And what exactly do you plan to do?" She smirked. "You'll see." She stormed out. Caspian walked in a moment later. "What was that about?" "Trouble," I said. "And it's only starting." Because Lana wasn't going to let go quietly. But she had no idea who she was fighting. Later that evening, Benjamin came to see me, alone. "Hilda, I need to apologize again." I sighed. "Benjamin, it's okay." "No, it's not," he said urgently. "You carried me for years. You protected me. You saved the company. And I let Dad treat you like you were nothing. I let Lana disrespect you. I let the lies continue because I was scared of disappointing everyone." I softened. He was trembling. "I'm sorry, Hilda. I'm so sorry. You deserved better from me." I nodded, letting the words sit between us. "And," he added, "I told Lana to stay away from you." My eyebrows lifted. "You did?" "Yes, I told her she crossed the line. If she can't respect you, she can't stay in our lives." I blinked, surprised. "You really said that?" "Yes," he whispered. "I'm choosing peace, not chaos." For the first time in a long time, I saw the brother I once loved. But before I could speak, he added something else. "Hilda, Dad wants to see you, privately." My heart skipped. And when I went to see him, everything changed again. My father was waiting in his study, weak but determined. "Hilda," he said softly, "come sit." I sat across from him. "I want to say something I've never said before," he continued. "And I need you to hear it clearly." I braced myself. "You are the best thing that ever happened to this family," he whispered. "You saved our legacy. You saved our reputation. You saved us. And you did it all while being ignored, dismissed, and overlooked." My chest tightened. "And I know an apology doesn't erase years of pain," he said, "but I'm begging you anyway." He lowered his head. "Please forgive me." For a moment, I couldn't speak. I saw the man who raised me, not as a tyrant, but as a flawed human who finally understood his mistakes. I took his hand. "We'll rebuild," I said quietly. "Slowly, but yes, I forgive you." He exhaled in relief. But forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. And there was still one final step left. A week later, the board arranged a formal ceremony at headquarters. Cameras, staff, executives. The entire company gathered to witness the announcement. The chairman stepped forward. "Today, we honor the true leader behind our success, the woman who saved us, the woman who built our future." He turned toward me. "Please welcome our new CEO and president, Hilda." The applause thundered through the room. Caspian cried. Benjamin clapped the loudest. My father stood, weak but proud. I walked to the stage, feeling 20 years of buried strength rise inside me. When I took the microphone, I said one sentence. "Never let anyone tell you who you can or cannot become." The room erupted. But there was still one thing left to do. The final chapter of my journey. Later that night, I drove to my parents' house. My father was on the porch, wrapped in a blanket. He looked up with soft eyes. "Hilda, you did it." "No," I said gently. "We did it because you chose to see me." He smiled sadly. "I wish I had sooner." I sat beside him. "You know," he said quietly, staring into the distance. "That Lamborghini I gave Benjamin, it was supposed to be your gift." I blinked. "What?" "I bought it months earlier, but then I convinced myself you wouldn't need it or deserve it, and that's my greatest regret." I inhaled sharply. He turned to me with trembling lips. "But today, I have something for you." He handed me a small box. Inside was a key. "What's this?" I whispered. He smiled. "It's waiting in the garage." I walked there, heart pounding. And when I opened the door, there it was. The Lamborghini. With a new bow. A golden one. My father stood behind me. "This time," he said quietly, "I got it right." Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in my life, I felt complete. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think my father handled the situation the right way or the wrong way? Was he justified in his actions? Or did he only apologize because he had no choice? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. I'm reading everything. Let's talk about it.